Welcome to another mile with By the Billions, and this is where every story begins with a journey. And speaking of journeys, we have here today a special guest that we have kindly invited over, and she has agreed to come. So, speaking of journeys, we have June Outdoors. We have June over here. How are you doing, June?
Hi, Afiq. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
All right, thank you for coming. So, in case you guys are not familiar with her or you've seen her before, it's probably because she is our homegrown adventurer, budding enthusiast for outdoor exploration, camping, hiking too.
A little bit.
Are you into foraging for wild mushrooms?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, she could be a mycologist soon enough. But chances are you've seen her on YouTube. Yeah, she creates content where she shares her journey for
Camping, outdoors, and recently a little bit of car stuff, overlanding stuff.
car stuff. That sounds exciting. Now here at By the Billions, we are very much into car stuff. Yeah, like when we say billions, we are not a multi-level marketing scheme. Billions in terms of odometer mileage. Yeah, so we're trying to rack up as many as we can. We love high mileage vehicles. Since you're here today, what is the day in the life of June Outdoors like?
Quite honestly, I no longer have a routine. Every single day of my life is quite different. On some days I am camping, on some days I'm hiking, on some days I'm just doing nothing at home, just video editing, and on some days I spend at my favorite garage working on my Land Cruiser.
Ooh, you have a favorite garage, huh?
Yep.
All right, this is a completely trusted mechanic.
Yep.
And let me guess, this is the one in Seremban, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think June has funneled a lot of potential customers to that garage because I couldn't get a slot at his workshop. I had to send my car somewhere else, but that's fine. I'll get my turn soon. All right, what have you been up to lately?
Lately, quite honestly, ever since I bought my Land Cruiser, it's been a whole new exciting chapter of my life. Like, I'm still doing a lot of camping and hiking and YouTubing, but my Land Cruiser has just opened up a new chapter. I am doing lots of repairs, maintenance, and I hang out a lot at my mechanic's garage, just working on the Land Cruiser, and recently just completed the interior build.
Nice.
I've made an overland interior build, and I'm also planning a road trip soon.
Oh, all right. Now, before we delve into the road trip details, how about let's talk about your Land Cruiser.
Okay.
Now, in case you have not noticed, I am wearing a Land Cruiser Day t-shirt. I'm very much a Land Cruiser enthusiast.
Oh yes, Afiq, you do have a Land Cruiser as well, right?
I think a Land Cruiser would be an understatement. I own a few. I don't know if I should be proud of this fact or, if this was a poor financial planning on my end. But either way, I'm very much happy with my Land Cruisers. But I'm much more curious about your Land Cruiser. The myth, the legend. This is the vessel through which you are using to explore beyond the confines of your neighborhood, your home, and potentially the country. So what model is it?
Okay, so my Land Cruiser is a 70 series, the boxy one. In Malaysia, it's more affectionately known as LC2. 1991, manual transmission, and yeah, it is my favorite thing in this world right now.
Nice. And what engine do you have? Tell me you swapped it.
I didn't do the swap. It's a 1KZ engine, which the previous owner had overhauled. It's amazing engine.
Yeah, this is a quick PSA to the viewers out there. Do not toot on the 1KZ engines. I have one too. It's wonderful. It has never overheated once on me. You guys need to do proper maintenance, all right? Check the oil seals, check the turbo, change your oil, change the fluids. Toyota red coolant only, okay? All right, so back to the regular programming. The LC2. Quick pop question. What do they call the LC2s in Borneo? They don't call it
Mark
LC2.
II.
Yes. Good answer. So she does know her Land Cruisers. All right. There we go. Land Cruiser enthusiast.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So what is the mileage on your vehicle?
At the moment, it's at 240 plus K.
240 plus K. Oh, okay, not bad. And when you bought it, it was
When I bought it, it was 200 plus. I forgot. 230.
Okay, yeah. So you've added a few thousand here and there.
Yeah.
But it's not your daily driver, right?
It's at the moment it's not my daily drive. It's my camping car, my road trip car. But I hope to make it my full-time car soon.
Ah, okay. All right. That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
All right. So, what has your journey been like from the point that you've bought the Land Cruiser?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to have done to it? So you mentioned that you had a 1KZ engine already done.
Yeah.
Thanks to the previous owner, by the way, save her a lot of cost. They're
Yeah.
not cheap nowadays. What have you done to it? What has your experience owning one has been like?
Wow. Honestly, it's been quite an adventure ever since I bought it 1 year ago. Many people ask me, June, why buy a 30-year-old Land Cruiser? I mean, you are buying trouble. But honestly, I was deciding between buying a modern pickup versus a Toyota Land Cruiser. But after much thinking and analysis, I finally bought the car of my dreams. And I have to say it's not easy. Land Cruiser ownership is not easy. I had to restore it. It was not a full restoration, but I did what was necessary. I stripped it down naked, redid the upholstery, anti-rust, repainted. And basically, I was trying my best to give the car a new life. And I hope to convert it into my home on wheels soon.
Nice. That sounds amazing. My car is not a home on wheels. It's just a Land Cruiser.
Well, it's been a steep learning curve for me. In the past, I didn't know what differential is. I didn't know how a clutch worked. But now I am changing tires myself. I am changing engine oil myself. And it's an amazing learning experience for me. Yeah.
All right. I'm curious to know. So you said you've learned how to change the engine oil, basic maintenance, I would say, right, for your Land Cruiser. What else are you anticipating learning to work on for the upkeep yourself? Like, I'm sure there's many major jobs that you just hand over to the workshop, Wong Sifu, right?
Yes, Wong Sifu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out, my man
Shout out to
Wong.
Wong Sifu. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some things that's his area of expertise. Maybe you just need a lift, specialized tools. But is there something that you think would be necessary for you to pick up and learn and do yourself?
I think as a person, as a woman who is starting from ground zero, I have zero knowledge, skills, or experience in maintaining a 4x4 like a Land Cruiser. But whenever I send my car to my mechanic, I try to be there physically. I try to be present as much as possible. And I ask all the silly questions. I really ask everything from A to Z, like, how does the clutch work? Like, what does this bearing look like? What does the brake pads look like? And I try to be as hands-on as possible. So the major job, I'll leave it to the professional, but when it's the easier ones, I try to get them to teach me how to do it so that in the future, if I encounter similar problems, small problems, I will be able to handle it myself. Or at least learn how to recognize problems so that I know how to get help.
Yeah, because these are all things that are very useful in case you encountered, any annoyances or mishaps on the trail, right?
Yeah, which will happen a lot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good to know. I think I need to learn from you how to do all these things. Because
we
I
all
have
learn
the
together.
tendency to just send it to the workshop. One quick question about the Land Cruiser. Why do you choose the Land Cruiser 70 series?
Okay, so I could easily just buy a modern pickup truck, zero headache, comfortable drive, capable vehicle. But I think the Land Cruiser is timeless, it's classic, and during that time it was built to last forever. The material, how robust the engine is, and I feel like old cars like this has got soul. Yeah, and that's something that's not present in modern vehicles. So yeah,
That's
why
a
I
very
bought it.
well put answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Just curious to know. So jumping back more about you, I know you as June Outdoors, but
Yeah.
little is known about who June Outdoors is. What were you doing before all this? I don't think when you were in school, you're like, I want to be an overlander, a camper, or something. Like you had, a career, right, at some point.
So when I was young, I was not outdoorsy at all. In fact, I was a very ambitious young girl with big ambitions, to be successful in my career, to gain financial success. But I think when I was in university, I think I started experiencing a different kind of lifestyle. I started traveling a little bit. I did some extensive backpacking in India. I studied in India, and I started getting to know the outdoors, and I started experiencing nature, and my outlook on life kind of shifted, and my priorities in life kind of got reconfigured and restructured. So now I look for experiences like this. Yeah.
Okay. So with that in mind, like you were studying in India and you got a little taste of, the beauty of nature, right? I don't know if you've been to like Jammu, Kashmir,
Oh, yes.
Himachal Pradesh.
Yes.
Yeah, these are very beautiful places in India. And you were there studying for a career, right? At which point did you realize that, you know what, like maybe it is time for me to grow beyond these boundaries?
So I did work on my career as well. I did progress in my career as well. But something in India created a spark in me. I remember I was doing one of my backpacking trips. I was hiking the Himalayas, and one of the nights I just stepped out of my tent and I looked up in the sky, and I saw so many stars. Like, there were so many stars, the sky was literally whitewashed, and I was in awe. And that's a moment that I can't forget. And I told myself, I'm gonna live for moments like this. So I think that's what inspired me to create a life path, a lifestyle that allows me to get more experiences like this, raw moments, raw experiences in nature.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, because for a regular person, they don't get to see this, or maybe they don't envision themselves doing this, Like, if you ask me, what I see is federal highway traffic in the morning and in the evening, yeah, and then, my bedroom at night.
Well, that's a different kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's familiarity, there's safety in there,
Yeah.
but definitely no, billions of stars in the sky or whatever. So that is how, like I would say, it's a very interesting story that you shared with me about your experiences in India, because, how individuals are defined is how your number is saved in your phone. Like mine is just probably Afik, yours is June Outdoors, right? Because you are the June Outdoors. Yeah,
No,
like this is the
no.
persona, right? That somehow you've carved yourself into. Yeah, and you embody it, right?
Well, I don't think I have a certain set of persona or identity. I'm still a work in progress. Like, I'm still trying to figure out who I am and trying to discover myself and through all these experiences. Yeah, I think we human, we will just continuously evolve and change, and that's what makes life exciting.
That is such an excellent answer. I feel like it should be written into a book and turned into a quote, right? And speaking of discover and experiences,
Yeah.
right? What is at the top of your mind, what are you seeking to discover? Like, is there any specific experiences in life or on the planet that, you've probably seen it on Nat Geo, Discovery Channel, or even on social media, and you're like, you know what? I want to do that. I want to be there too. I want to live in the present.
Okay, so I think most people, like most of us, we love to travel, right? Some people travel for food, some people travel to look at new places, experience cities, But I think for me, I am looking for raw experiences, raw moments. I look for genuine connections, deep connections. Like, for example, there's this place that I really want to go to in Kyrgyzstan. I just want to drive on the wide open road and just experience the vastness of the land, rolling hills, and just witness a group of horses just galloping past and just watch the sun rising above the horizons. I want to experience all of that. So yeah, that's what travel and exploration mean to me, to be able to experience really raw moments like this.
All right, and your means of achieving these dreams would be through your Overlanding.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what's on my mind right now. The very reason I bought the Land Cruiser is to be able to take me across the world. Yeah.
If I was your Land Cruiser, I would be excited because I don't know what's in store for me. You know, like right now, it's explored quite a fair bit of Malaysia, possibly Thailand as well, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
but there's
soon.
still so much yet for it. Does it have a gender? He, she? Does your Land Cruiser have a name?
It's at the moment. I'm still figuring out the name. I've been calling her Teh Tarik because it's cute. It's got the color of Teh Tarik. But yeah, it's not finalized yet. But yeah, the name has been stuck for quite a while now.
Yeah, and Teh Tarik has no idea the places that she's about to go to in the future. It would be driving next to, like a horde of wild horses, in Kyrgyzstan, where else? In Turkey. What other countries like is on your bucket list right now?
Definitely the Himalayas. I hope the car will be able to drive through the Himalayan mountains. I want to experience driving in high altitude with the backdrop of the snow-capped mountains and maybe park the car somewhere and go on a Himalayan trek. Yeah, that's another region that I would love to explore.
Nice, yeah. So your car will be plastered, with dirt and mud and sand from every continent at some point in the future. That is a
Hopefully.
true Teh Tarik experience to me. It's a melting pot of culture and an embodiment of who we are as Malaysians and as a Malaysian car. The car's not
Yeah.
Japanese; it's built in Malaysia, by the way. Yeah, get your facts right. All right. So you have progressed beyond conventional traveling, and now you are setting your sights on an alternative method of traveling. So most people when they want to fly when they want to go to visit Kyrgyzstan, they take a flight over there. You plan on driving over there, and along the way, I'm sure you'll be setting your foot and your tires into a lot of different countries. There's going to be so many things that you can experience and see. What are you looking forward to? Like
Okay.
what drives your ambition to travel? Like for some people, they just want to get to the destination and then travel around there. But for you, the journey is the destination,
Oh yes,
right?
definitely, definitely. Like when you ask me, June, you want to overland, right? Like where do you plan to go? What are your routes? They ask me all these details, but honestly, to me, it's really all about the journey. Like I don't even know how long I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take as much time as I can. I want to experience, I want to take my time and drive on the road and drive to the countryside and maybe come upon a village, get to know the people in the village. If they have horses, I want to learn how to ride a horse, how to take care of their horses, and maybe learn a bit of farming, and then maybe learn how to cook their local cuisine, and then cook Malaysian cuisine for them. Just get to know the people there and make new friends, and to really, really experience nature in its rawest form. And yeah, there are many reasons for people to travel, and there's no right or wrong reasons. But for me personally, I travel to experience genuine human connections and raw experiences with nature.
I think I could agree with that. Yeah, like traditionally, I see myself as a conventional traveler. Like if I were to go visit a country, 5 days, 4 nights. Day one, I do this and that. I eat here. I visit these monuments. I go to this museum, and it's the same thing over there. But I don't get to experience the way the locals do, right? Like you got to stick with a tour bus or the metro map or whatever.
I mean,
But-
that's also fun.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but you just get to explore something that nobody else has done before, or very few has attempted. Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you had your own car, like, and you could sleep in your own car, like you have a rooftop tent, right?
Yes, I have a rooftop tent, and I hope to make the car self-sufficient with power, water, electricity, connectivity, and all of that. And yeah, with a car, you really get the freedom of choice, and you get to travel at your own pace. You get to get on the lesser traveled road. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But how about you, Afiq? I think you have traveled quite extensively as well, like back in the US as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know if it's considered overland or expedition. I would say more like overlanding. Yeah, but I had a Toyota 4Runner, 1997, third gen with a 5EZ FE 3.4 liter TRD supercharged. and I would just sleep in the back of the car. I've driven to all the lower 48 states, parts of Canada, parts of Mexico, mostly by myself, and it's been fun. The weather's been great, and you get to see a lot of how the locals live. You know, like I've camped in the middle of a cornfield in Nebraska. You know, I stayed over at some farmer's house. They took me in for like 3 days. Because I was just so tired. I was weary. I just needed somewhere to rest that's not in the back of my car. I do get sick of it sometimes. You know, you get to that point eventually after being on the road for like 2 months. But I think that's what I like about, like traveling in your own car. It doesn't matter if it's an expedition or an overland journey. Just the fact that I have that greater degree of freedom, like in a regular travel format, I'd be like, okay, like my flight arrives here at this time. I have to go check in at the hotel. Tonight, I have to go see this. Tomorrow, I have this, I have that. And then I go back home. I have to be at the airport 3 hours before check-in, But in my own car, I'm like, you know what? Today, I feel like staying here longer. I don't want to move on to the next town. I could do that,
There's room for flexibility and spontaneity, and for you to meet amazing people and get amazing experiences.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like you said, there's no right or wrong. But when I visit Paris, France, for example, and I tell people like, oh, I visited the Eiffel Tower. So has everyone else. Like I want to be able to tell them more stories, something more interesting. Like, oh, like I stayed at a French chateau for a week. I've never done that, but I would love to. Like I helped the caretaker of the chateau graze sheep in the farms around the castle.
Amazing.
That sounds fun, right? It doesn't have to be that, but it's just breaking the boundaries and seeing more of the world. So aside from the people, the culture, the food, and maybe a couple monuments here and there, and the horses, you've mentioned horses a few times already in this video. What about the weather? Like you, born and raised in Malaysia, right? Grew up in Malaysia.
Born and raised in Malaysia, where it's hot and humid all the time. It's either really, really hot and humid, or it's super duper rainy. So I would love to experience something different, like the cold and the snow and the hot, dry desert, just to have some variety, and to also see how the Land Cruiser will be able to handle different kinds of weather. That would be interesting.
I'm sure it will, because if you Google a picture of a Land Cruiser on top of a mountain, even under the sea maybe, on a desert, you will find vehicle. You do not see a BMW in the middle of the desert. Let's just put it this way. They have a saying, right? The Land Cruiser is the vehicle that, you take when you want to go somewhere and you want to come back home in one piece.
Correct.
I don't want to mention the other brand. The code is actually longer. I don't want to hurt feelings. All right, I'm just going to ask you one quick question. I'm going to name a general geographic area, and you are going to tell me the number one country, the first one that comes up to the top of your mind, and what you want to do in that country. So, the African subcontinent.
Kenya?
Kenya. What's in Kenya?
Safari, of course.
All right. And the general Greater Europe area?
I would love to go to the Scandinavians because, I want to catch the Northern Lights and watch it from the roof of my Land Cruiser.
All right. And the Americas?
South America, Peru. Beautiful mountains.
Beautiful mountains. Machu Picchu?
Yep, one of them.
Sadly, I don't think you can drive your teh tarik all the way up to Machu Picchu. You're going to have to take a tour bus and then hike up.
Well, I'll just park it somewhere.
It needs to rest at some point, right? It's going to be on a long journey. All right, So all of these talk about long journeys and expeditions. People say that Toyotas are indestructible, they're robust, but I don't think it's as simple as just turning the key in the ignition, putting diesel in the tank, and just driving. What kind of challenges do you think you're going to face along the way? Like, what kind of preparation do you need to do?
Okay, so the Land Cruiser, my Land Cruiser is 34 years old, and it was a vehicle that was built to last forever. It's got a robust engine, a robust body, but it is reliable only if you take care of it well, right? Hiccups are going to happen. Mechanical hiccups are going to happen. I guess for me, with very minimal skills and knowledge and experience, I need to just make sure I take care of the parts well. Whatever that needs to get replaced, I replace them. Whatever skills that needs to be learned, like changing the tire, changing the brake pads, changing the engine oil, I will need to learn how to do all of that now. And I think most importantly is to bring enough spares on the trip so that whenever I experience a breakdown, if I can't help myself, at least other people will be able to help me with the spares available. Yeah.
All right. What about logistical challenges? Like I don't know. I've heard that in some countries you're not allowed to drive a right-hand drive vehicle. Maybe visa issues. Is the car even allowed to enter? Can you just drive in, chop your passport, and go in, or do you have to pay taxes? Have you looked into this before?
Yes, a little bit. Still doing my research, but what I understand is in order to drive your car across the world, you need something called the carnet, which is passport for your vehicle. And some countries require that and some countries don't. So you really got to plan your route properly. And left-hand drive, right-hand drive, whatever problem that comes your way, you just have to think on your feet and just solve the problem. And if the country doesn't allow, you just don't enter the country. So
yeah, that's a bit sad though. Yeah, but you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. So there's no problem that cannot be solved. You just got to have the right attitude and the right spirit.
All right, and speaking of attitude and spirit, I just want to understand or, just try to see a little bit more about the June outdoors that we have all come to know and love. Has your family, your friends been supportive of your journey so far?
Okay. Now, I would be lying if I said my family was entirely supportive of what I do, because there's no denying that it does come with certain danger and risk, especially being a girl in Asia. There's certain stereotype tied to that. But I think I'm fortunate to have parents and family and friends who are very understanding, and they give me freedom and trust to do what I want and go after my dreams. And I think as long as I'm able to show them and assure them that I'm able to take care of myself and I'm able to always be safe, I think they are quite happy for me as long as I'm happy and fulfilled. Yeah.
And speaking of fulfillment, one method through which that you are trying to achieve this fulfillment is through overlanding, right?
Yeah, one of the ways, yes.
Right. And for a lot of Malaysians, maybe some Singaporeans, Malaysia is seen as the starting point for overlanding. But have you ever seen Malaysia as a destination in and of itself?
Oh, yes, for sure. Malaysia is a really tiny country, but it's so beautiful, and there's lots of untouched and unseen parts of Malaysia that even regular Malaysians do not know. Like the Borneo, for example, Sabah and Sarawak. I used to live in Sabah for a few years, and beautiful mountains, rivers, campsites and hiking spots. It's just beautiful. And I remember participating in a 4-wheel drive outreach expedition. It was a medical camp, and we traveled in 4x4s through off-roads to the faraway villages to give medical aid. And that was a really interesting experience. And I also remember last year, I participated in Rainforest Trophy, which was in Peninsular Malaysia. And honestly, when I first joined, I didn't have any expectations because, the regular Malaysian would think that, it's just Peninsular Malaysia, there's nothing much to be seen. But boy, was I surprised, because we actually went deep into the jungles of Pahang, where the orang asli live. And it was quite eye-opening, actually. Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah, and it's not something that you normally see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I say this pretty often, like where we were, I was there too, last year during RFT. Where we were is situated right between KL and Kuantan. And for most people, when they drive from KL to Kuantan, it's like a 2-hour, 30-minute drive maybe. And they just see a straight highway, they see the bridge at Temelo, they see the R&R where they eat ikan patin. They don't know that inside the forest that's on their left, flanking the left and right side, that's where we saw what we see last year, right? Now, we see the Orang Asli, we saw a village that was previously, it doesn't have road access, but now they do since COVID, and it's the hospitality, the warmth, it was so inviting. We see wild animals.
Oh, yes. I think some of the guys saw a sun bear I
Yeah,
think.
sun bear. The sun bear and tapirs.
Tapirs.
Yeah, we saw elephant tracks too, right?
Ooh, yeah. That was pretty scary.
Yeah. It's pretty scary because the elephant's bigger than Teta Ray. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah, you need comprehensive insurance for your car. Yeah, it's about time we all look into that. Yeah, yeah. Like, well, what else do you see or experience during the expedition? Like, just because it's in a relatively small, confined area. Like Peninsular Malaysia is not that big of a country. You know, like I've seen U.S. cities probably almost the same size as Peninsular Malaysia. Yeah, but we were just there in a little patch of green on Google Maps. But like, what else do you experience? You know, what about the expedition just made you wonder? Like, you know what? This is my tribe. You know, this is my identity, and I want to continue doing this.
So I think Rainforest Trophy was particularly impactful for me personally because I joined it as a beginner. I'm still a beginner now, but I was really nervous before the expedition. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I had no off-roading experience. But I think the whole expedition was a really good platform to bridge the gap between seasoned, experienced off-roaders and beginners like myself. You know, we get to learn the basics of four-wheel drive driving, of off-roading. And the good thing is the old-timers, they were all very kind and generous, sharing their knowledge and skills with us. And they were no way condescending towards us beginners. And I find that really, really amazing. And the overall experience was amazing. I made new friends. I learned about the spirit of off-roading, you know, the friendships made. And I actually came out of the expedition feeling more confident. And I understood my car better. I understood how to tackle various terrains better. And yeah, it was really unforgettable. Yeah, I would do it again.
Oh yeah, that
for
sounds
sure,
fun. Would
yeah.
you do it again?
Oh, for sure, 200%.
Well, that's good news because I hear that we are going to have the Malayan expedition this year.
Okay.
Yeah, you've heard about it, right?
Yeah, I've heard a bit. I heard, yeah.
All right. But first off, I just want to know, you want to come back on another expedition. What do you expect? You know, like you've established your expectations last year and your takeaway points from last year. You know, like you said, you've gotten to know your car much more intimately. You know, you've known the boundaries of what you can push and what you should hold back on. This year, what do you think you can expect? You know,
I think this year might be bigger. I think the terrain might be a bit more interesting, and I think all of us, even beginners, will be able to really test our cars and see what it can do. And I heard there'll be a few water crossings. And yeah, I am really looking forward to bigger adventures and rugged terrains and even more friendship built.
Yeah, and I think that's what is exciting about that to me. You know, I cannot wait to just meet new people. Like last year, you know, we met a whole bunch of new people together. You know, we still keep in touch with each other, but sharing this hobby and just, you know, having this platform to where having much more newbies and even seasoned veterans in the 4x4 world come together and just, you know, reignite this, I would say, annual convention of a shared hobby, like in the outdoor world and outdoor spirit, as you said it. Yeah, hopefully, you know, there's no more hiccups this year. I mean, you know, like some minor hiccups are to be expected. Yeah, my car, different story.
Oh yes, I remember your Land Cruiser was just like throwing out black smoke nonstop.
Yeah, black smoke. Yeah, and you know, we just left the jungle, like the 101-kilometer off-road expedition. We just left it. I was on a tar road, and I think you were behind me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and smoke was coming not just out of my car, but inside my car too.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was panicking. Yeah, and I remember you and Jerome stopped to help me out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really appreciated that. You know.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I was panicking too. I was like, you know, I thought the tar road, you know, like my problems, my worries are over. You know, we can hightail it out to the Holiday Villa Cherating and just sleep in a proper bed and have a warm shower for once, but now the smoke is blowing in my face. My nostrils are black. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that must have been really nerve-wracking for you. Like I didn't know what was going on, but I think my friend knew what was going on, and yeah, I think that's what this whole thing is about: is the embodiment of the spirit of teamwork, helping each other out, the whole camaraderie, friendship, and the community spirit. That's what's most beautiful about an expedition like this.
Yeah, exactly. This is like a supervised playing ground,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, so going from that, I would say we are going to be expecting a lot more fun, a lot more challenges, more water crossings. You don't need to buy a snorkel, but it'll be nice if you could have one. Your car is going to look even better. All right, so would you say that this sort of expeditions, like Malayan expedition, is a great starting point for somebody who had just bought a four-wheel drive vehicle, for the vibes, for just because they want to explore this outdoor thing, but they have no idea how, the differential works. How does the 4-low, 4-high works?
Oh yes. Definitely. I think Malayan expedition will be the perfect starting point for anyone who is new at this. You've just bought your 4x4, you are unfamiliar with how your car behaves, how your car drives on different terrains. Like, I am still not super familiar with my car, and I've still got lots to learn. But I think an expedition like this will be great for us to get to know our cars better, get to know how they behave, how they drive. And it's a safe playground, as you said. There are seasoned old-timers who are there to help us out if we are in a rut.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if your car can survive the harsh rainforests of Malaysia, it can survive anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I think so.
Our terrain, our climate is unforgiving. Yeah, they don't have leeches in Russia. I don't think so. They don't have elephants.
Leeches are cute.
Stampeding cars in the United States. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, I just want to ask you, what is the long arch? What is the mission, like in your whole journey? Like, as I understand, you have just relatively begun to embark on your June outdoors journey, this whole chapter in life. Like, where do you plan to be? Like, what's the end goal?
Oh wow, that's such a big question. I think I have not thought that far ahead, but what I know for sure now is that, I have left quite a big career behind to pursue this new life path, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm going to continue to do lots of camping, lots of hiking, and the next big thing is going to be overlanding. I am planning a big overlanding trip soon, which I'm going to share on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned. And then, get as much experiences as possible. And I don't know, maybe in the future, share my experiences, maybe do a podcast like this, and maybe write a book. I don't know. The possibilities are endless.
All right. We will be there at the book signing for when the book launches, all right? Yeah, so we will be expecting that. All right, so we all know that you are using YouTube as one of your platforms to share your story, to share your vision, and to document the whole process, right? From this time you begin and to whatever's coming next. I just have a question, like, how do you see yourself using this platform to voice out, this whole mission, to connect with, your audience? Are you trying to inspire people?
All right, so my YouTube channel is something that's very close to my heart. I'm not perfect. Like, my journey is not perfect. It is always an ongoing journey of learning and making mistakes and falling down and rising and learning again. So I wish through my channel to inspire people to believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone to go after what you want. And don't listen to all the naysayers. Don't be consumed by fears. Just, if you want something, you make it happen. And for me, how I connect with my viewers is just communicating that spirit. I do not have a big following, but I have received a few heartfelt messages from my viewers and subscribers who actually thank me for inspiring them to go out there, experience the outdoors, step out of their comfort zone. And these are people who are stuck in a 9-to-5 corporate job, or they have certain mental health struggles, And my videos actually help them get out there, disconnect and reconnect with themselves, and they are on their path of healing. And yeah, this is what motivates me to continue doing this. Yeah.
That sounds really lovely.
Yeah.
Wow, like I'm a little bit speechless at this point. But yeah, I think I speak not just for myself, but for a lot of your viewers as well, is that, we live our lives vicariously through your videos. In fact, I would say that 9 out of 10 people that I've spoken to, whether it's past year participants for the Rainforest Trophy expedition or people who want to join the expedition this year, and they all mention your video as a sole single-handed source of their inspiration. That video was like, what, 48 minutes long, around there, I think.
Yeah, 40 minutes, yeah.
But yeah, you did such a good job at documenting, the whole journey, the whole story, capturing the spirit, the laughter, the challenges faced, even the heat. I swear, I started sweating when I see the hot sun in the video. Yeah. I'm like, PTSD, transported me back into time.
I have to say it is a lot of hard work, time and effort making a video like this, from filming to editing. Yeah, it is a lot of work, but it is always worth it, and especially hearing feedback from my viewers who actually appreciate the video. It makes it all worth it, and I will do it again and again and again.
All right. Yeah. Now I'm going to ask you if you have anything that you would like to tell to not just our audience, but to your viewers as well, who's watching.
Wow. I would say, you want something, you go for it. Don't be consumed by fear. Just every single day is an opportunity for you to make your dream come true. So you just need to take the step and believe in yourself.
All right, and that's right. You heard it, folks. All right, thank you so much, June, for
thank you so much, Afiq, for having me.
Yeah, and if you've reached this far in the video, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed to By the Billions, please do so on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, that felt weird saying it, but we can't do this without your support. So thank you to our followers, old and new, past and present, and in the future. And also thank you to June, who has come on her own time. Instead of camping or whatever, she decided to spend today with us sharing her experiences. Yeah.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So, all right, June, to more adventures, and I'll see you on the next expedition, all right?
All right, see you out there.
All right, thank you so much, and take care. Bye-bye.